Okay, crew, is there anything you would like to do today, such as check the perimeter? Sounds great, let's check it out. You walk around the perimeter, and everything is absolutely safe and perfect, just how you left it. Well, safety is good. Next, you're off to clean your pet wyvern's teeth. Oh man, he can get a little bitey sometimes. You clean the wyvern's teeth exceptionally well, and it cooperates. Gotta love when your wyvern cooperates. Next, we're off to clean the blade of a death god. Aw yeah, here we go. You clean the blade to perfection, not nicking yourself for anything. I touched the blade. What have you done?
Welcome to SquidPublic. Slay the like button, subscribe for more content, join Patreon for one-shots and other content, as well if you liked the video, leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching.
If you ever find that your Dungeons & Dragons experience, or book in general, or something you're writing is just lacking motivation, some oomph, or just good old conflict, it's probably why your story's not progressing well, or it's just going because you said so. These are often things we want to avoid. If people ask why the characters are doing something, or why your main character is being written this way, and you say just because, most likely there's not enough background story and also probably meaningful conflict pushing the person forward. A very generic D&D conflict is often bandits at lower levels. They just raid things because they can, and there's a preconceived notion of what bandits mean. It means they're evil men. They're attacking the weak and the young, and they're just stealing because they're greedy. It works for like a simple session, but overall the conflict's very generic. Therefore, your character's investment is probably going to be mediocre as well, because this is something they've seen and maybe have done 100 times before. It's not something that really grips the party. And we'll talk about how to escalate a simple conflict by either relating it or making it a factor from a bigger conflict. And like I said, we'll describe that later in the video. So, a way you could make this conflict more related to your characters. Let's say they're raiding a town, but in the town, most of the men were militia, and they've gone off to fight in a bigger war. And now bandits are taking the opportunity to attack your town because your father, mother, whoever went off into a war, right? Now you, the up-and-coming individual, now have to protect the town from the bandits attacking. It's slightly different, but it might be enough to the heroes to prove like, hey, all the grown adults are gone, where all the normal defenders are gone. I'm going to show my worth by taking down these bandits. And these bandits didn't used to be an issue until the town was weaker. So there's that weird sense of they really are just opportunists, and maybe there's something else behind that. Maybe they're really truly not bad people. Like I said, maybe they're just taking advantage of the lack of law or lack of manpower to stop them, and that used to keep them in check. So are they better people? Or are they worse people? Or are they just like every other bandit? They just never had the opportunity. Kind of introduces this new story flavor to it, where it's like, this wasn't a problem until authority left. Authority left. Now there's bandits, and it's up to me to stop them. So it adds a little bit extra layer. You can also add it to it. Well, did the bandit not like someone's dad? Did the bandit not like someone's mother, brother? They have something they want, they possess, you know what I mean? You could also add that, like, hey, you know this guy, and not your number one fan, we could say. So you could really dig into that a little more. Now it's not just like we go and attack bandits. It's like, we have motivation. We have what they used to do and what they now do, or maybe we have something they want, that's why they keep attacking. So is it worth giving up, just letting them move on to reduce bloodshed, or do you need to protect it at all costs? It really throws in a lot of extra flavor for pretty much the same idea. Bandits are striking the town. So that's how you can create more conflict, by having somebody maybe leave that was very important to the main character. Maybe someone die that was important to the main character. You possess something someone wants, or someone stole something you wanted to keep, So now you have to chase the bandits maybe outside the town. They got what they want, they left. Now you're like, oh, do I leave my hometown to chase down this group of bandits that stole from me and, other people just for my own personal game, or just let it go because, they moved on. You would have to spend a lot of time and energy after them, and who knows if you'll find them. So there's a way to introduce a lot more conflict in that simple bandit scenario, rather than to just, hey, we're killing bandits today. The question I want to ask you is, what's your favorite drama or TV show that has, usually dramas are very good at this. Dramas always bring up so much conflict. And how do they do it? Drama and conflict are the same thing. Two characters love each other. But you watching the show know, well, this is going to be rocky. Why? Because it wouldn't be fun if their relationship was perfect where nothing happened. So what usually happens? They have disagreements on a high moral level, or let's just say they're going to have a kid and suddenly that kid doesn't work out or something. Or maybe the person they're dating they thought was their loved one, but really it's the twin sister, and the twin sister has locked away the original sister. You know, something absurd like that, but it creates drama and conflict because the main character doesn't know that he's dating an evil twin and the innocent twin is captured, you know, whatever. It creates drama. They can be over the top, but that's how they keep so much drama, so much conflict pumping. It's the highs and the lows. Someone gets over the conflict. They enjoy a ride for 2 to 3 episodes or maybe a season, and the next season, boom, they're right back down to the gutter. Everything bad happens to them. They lose their job. Their parent passes away or something. Their loved one leaves them, or they find out that I don't know. You know, like, it just literally keeps stacking on, and then it's the slow, well, they overcome this. They overcome that. They overcome that. Maybe they have to overcome this by sacrificing that, which you know will bite them in the butt 5 episodes later, but not for the moment. What you want to do is try to add as much drama material into your game without it obviously being so absurd. Like you're chasing some guy and you're like, aha, he was really a chicken the whole time. I don't know. I'm just trying to think something that you'd be like, all right, it's like, that's a little crazy. But my point is, if you find out that your game's getting a little stale, your conflict may not be relatable to the characters enough. We'll kind of get into that a little more right here. And the one thing we actually didn't talk about, which is a little awkward, sometimes we're afraid to create actual hard conflict because we usually view these people as friends and family. If they are strangers, it may be a little easier. But you don't want a friend or a family member to feel like you're being extra hard on them, where you're ruining, quote unquote, their fun because you're making it really hard for this last session or two because they wrote in a family member. Now suddenly the family member's not really cool with them, or suddenly the family member's captured. We play D&D to overcome conflicts and triumph, to achieve triumph, but sometimes there's got to be a few things in the way of that. And certain people handle that well. Certain people really don't appear to handle the serious in-game conflict. They like more of the bandit's here. The dragon sits on the hoard, the gold hoard here. That's okay. You have to kind of gauge out your people, because if they are not going to do well with hard conflict, you got to know your audience, and you got to know the limits in which you can push them in-game, because outside of the game, you don't want them to feel like, wow, the DM was really on my case today. Did I do something wrong? Why did he take one of my favorite characters and just barbecue him? It's like, okay, well, it wasn't all without, reason. I'm hoping the sacrifice of X will hopefully bring Y for you and progress your character, cause some conflict, give you some motivation to keep looking, not because the DM said this is what we're doing. You as the player and hopefully human are going to be like, I want to know why the dragon did that. I want to know why the dragon's here, and I want to know why they picked on me and not this person. Once your characters and players start asking why and providing self-motivation rather than the DM providing the next story beat, the story should flow rather well. The character and the player should interact with said story, and hopefully you create something really well. If you often find people aren't very interested in what you're doing, or they don't take your conflict seriously, they may be A, too low, or B, maybe they're so absurd they actually can't even keep track, and they're like, I don't even care about this conflict because it's going to take a 180 in next session. It's like, that's not good either. The occasional 180 where like a rabbit out of the hat is really great, but if you keep doing it, your players won't trust anything you do. And at that point, you actually may become predictable and you can't surprise them. Or like I said, they won't become attached to anything because they know by the end of the session, it's already done. So tell me about a few times where you created some serious but good conflict among your party. And I'm not talking about like people bickering, like, you really put one person's playable character through the ringer. They lost loved ones. They had to sacrifice maybe like a limb, or they had to give up a certain part of their life so they could secure this. But in the end, the player or character was like, you know what? Kind of sucked for 3 to 5 sessions, or maybe honestly it was just kind of suck throughout the whole campaign, but at the end that was so worth it, or maybe not in the end of the campaign, just the end of that player's cycle. Maybe their player doesn't make it through the whole campaign because halfway through they achieve their ultimate goal and they go, hey guys, I see no reason to adventure anymore, where I see no reason to progress. I've done what I've come to do. Thank you so much. I hope you find someone else to replace me. Obviously they will. And that can be rewarding in its own right. I pseudo had that happen in a 2-year campaign with my friend. Now, granted, I didn't play the guy for the last, I think it was 2 or 3 sessions, but the point is, the character I literally played the whole entire time for 2 years had a very natural ending story beat that I just wanted him to phase out before the last 2 to 3 sessions. It didn't suck. It just felt right. It felt weird to me because I was like, oh man, I played this guy for 2 years. And now I'm I had another character I would occasionally pull in for when I had to have my other character go do story beats on their own. So it wasn't a complete transition to a new character, but it was just so natural. The character went through so much conflict with the party, with their self, and kind of adopting their new role. But it was really rewarding in the end. It was a very nice ending. So I enjoyed it. It was natural. The character technically didn't see it to the very end of the campaign, even though they were still alive in the world when the campaign ended. But I thought it was very fitting. So, like I said, let me know what your greatest conflict was and how your players received it. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe below.